Hi, and welcome to Ivy League Analytical English. I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today is September 11th. We're on page 35 of the magazine. And the title of our article today is The New Science of Cooking.
我们的中文标题是科学与艺术的厨房。
So, my mom, when she taught us cooking, she's basically like cooking is chemistry, and baking is even more chemistry. So with baking, you have to be super precise with your amounts because the chemical reactions that you're asking are precise. But cooking, you still have to understand chemistry, but it doesn't have to be as precise as baking.
好，所以这个 Angela 老师说，他妈妈教他们煮饭的时候、烧菜的时候呢，他说这个煮菜烧饭呢，基本上就是化学。好，那如果说你今天要烘焙好或者烘焙面包的话呢，这个更是一种化学啊，因为你烘面包做面包的时候，那个面粉啊，这个要怎么样发啊，怎么样这个调制你的面粉，然后放多少时间，怎么弄，那个都是需要非常这个精细的或者精密的一个成分跟比例。
But actually, it's not as hard as we just made it sound. Baking bread is actually super easy.
Oh,
really,
okay.
really. It really is super easy. It just requires an oven, of course,
Yeah.
and the yeast and the flour and the water. You've got 4 ingredients, you can make bread.
啊，但其实也不是说它这个那么精细的科学啦哈，尤其是你如果要这个做面包或什么样的话，其实的比例你只要讲比例，但是你比例抓的差不多就可以了。
The point is, you have to be precise, but it's doable.
啊，重点是呢，还是要这个精密一点哈，这个要抓住那个比例哈，但是呢是可以做得来的。
And anyone could learn it. So, and that's true about any kind of food science, actually any kind of science. But let's just start with food, because the great thing about learning how to cook food is you can eat it after. And when it tastes good, you're like, I made this.
哦，好，所以这个烹调好的这个好处呢，或者美的地方就在于你烹调之后呢，你可以吃，而且好吃的话，你就会有成就感。
So let's read our article. Food science, as its name suggests, is a study devoted to understanding the industrial production of food. This includes research into the safety, preservation, and chemical composition of food. As a result, the variety and amount of food has greatly increased. Until molecular gastronomy started introducing new ways to apply chemistry and physics to food preparation, how people prepare food changed very little from the ways our ancestors did it for thousands of years. Before the invention of the microwave oven, food all around the world was prepared the same way over countless generations. The only ways to cook food were by using heat from direct or indirect exposure to fire, such as baking, roasting, frying, or barbecuing, or from heated water, such as boiling or steaming. In stark contrast, the modern molecular gastronomy kitchen looks like a cross between a kitchen and a science lab. That is because food undergoes preparation and treatment that requires great precision, as well as technical tools which are unavailable in traditional kitchens. Molecular gastronomy experiments with processes applied to food that attempt to extract flavors and change the textures of food. This may sound like a Frankenstein approach to cooking, but it relies on good old 100% natural ingredients. Everything used is from biological sources, whether plant or animal. What is the result of this intense interest in and experimentation with food? Some very surprising dishes. Transparent ravioli, mango puree served as a sphere, and caviar made from olive oil are just a few out-of-the-box ideas created in molecular gastronomy kitchens. Only time will tell whether molecular gastronomy is just a fad or the wave of the future. I'm going to go with fad, but it's cool stuff.
Yep.
Food science, as its name suggests, is a study devoted to understanding the industrial production of food. And honestly, the industrial production of food is nothing like the production of food in your kitchen.
What do you mean?
Scale, machinery.
Okay.
The things they're willing to do, the things they're willing to mix together.
所以这个工业化的这个食物的生产，其实跟我们在家里面生产这很不一样的。这个规模啊，用的设备啊，这个还有他们进行的方式都会很不一样。
The reliance on wheat products.
就是对于小麦的这个依赖哈，这个也是不一样的哈。我们自己在家里面做，可能不会那么依赖小麦，可是这个
Or also corn. Corn, wheat, any of those grains that the United States produces and really needs a market for, our industrial food system pretty much relies on.
这个小麦还有玉米哈，这些美国大量生产的东西呢，都跟工业的这个食物生产、工业化的食物生产有关系。好，所以我们看到这个句，他说这个食品科学 （food science） 啊，这个就如它的名字所告诉我们的 ，suggest 啊，就是告诉我们的，它是一种这个 a study 一种研究 ，devoted to 在这里可以说是 concentrated on 啊，就是集中于它的专注于什么呢？它要了解 understanding， 它要了解这个食物的工业生产。
Now, this includes research into the safety, preservation, and chemical composition of food. These are three very different categories. The safety of food is making sure that it is free of things that'll make you sick. Preservation is about making sure that the food stays whole, it doesn't rot. And a lot of our industrial food supply is about preserved foods. And then there's the chemical composition of food, which is used when you get into the chemical composition of food, you can understand how best to safely preserve it, basically. So chemical composition underlies the safety and the preservation aspects of research.
好，所以呢，它这个包括什么呢？就食品科学包括了 research 研究哈 ，into 对于什么的研究呢？对于食物的 safety 安全性啊，还有呢 preservation 食物的保存啊，怎么样可以保存食物啊？还有呢 the chemical composition 就是它的化学组成，食物的化学组成。你了解这个食物的化学组成啊，对于它的安全性，对于它的保存，甚至于对于提升它的风味啊，都会有帮助。
So as a result of all this research and industrial production, the variety and amount of food that's available to us has greatly increased. All you have to do is go to a big box store that is packed to the gills with a million different products, and you know this to be true.
好 as a result 结果是呢，这个 the variety 就是种类还有 amount 还有数量 of food， 现在食物的种类跟这个量呢 has greatly 大量的 increased 增加了，所以你现在去这个卖场啊，你看到那个各式各样的食物这个跟以前当然很不一样。不过我个人觉得这个以前我们小时候吃东西好像比较不用担心这种化学添加物因为那时候化学添加物比较少。
Yeah, because
Yeah, but now it's different. 现在这个什么东西都可以用化学调制出来你喝的果汁，你以为那真的是果汁，其实不是。Yeah.
It's because our science has advanced and people have been, continuously studying how to make things more interesting because human beings just love to invent things and we love to make things more complicated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even when it's not necessarily a better product, we just are like, oh, it's more complicated, let's do it. It's just a human thing to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to stop and take stock and be like, yeah, let's maybe not do that.
Yeah, 那真的是这样，因为人这个还有科学的发展潜力无穷所以也许在某一个点，我们应该要这个有某种规范，或者是大家要有某种自制就有些东西呢，其实还是不要做好了。例如说，这个现在还有人听说用不同的材料可以做出猪肉啊、牛肉啊，你吃下去，你以为你吃的是猪肉，其实它不是猪肉那听起来蛮恐怖的。或者牛肉那个汉堡那个里面没有肉可是吃起来就像牛肉汉堡一样。
Or it might be meat, but might be meat from literally 100 different animals all smushed together.
Yeah, 或者是它同样它可能是肉，可是它是很多种不同的肉用不同的比例掺在一起的那个真的是还是小时候吃的比较纯一点。
Yeah. But okay, so the last sentence in this paragraph says, until molecular gastronomy started introducing new ways to apply chemistry and physics to food preparation, how people prepare food changed very little from the ways our ancestors did it for thousands of years. So before the 20th century, we're like, yep, we're going to cook our food, and we're probably cooking our food like 100 years ago or 200 or 300 years ago. But actually, that's not really true. How people cooked in the 18th century is very different than how they cooked in the 15th century, even though they're still using fire. But we had tools and technology that was different. We had better fireplaces. We had iron pots. We had, we're continuously improving on how to make food. But in the 20th century, this speed jacked up enormously because science began to really investigate it. And so like post-World War II, the variety of foodstuffs available to us is really kind of mind-boggling.
Yeah. 好，所以呢，他说一直到这个分子的这个gastronomy 就是料理这个 这个前面的 gastro 就是它其实就是 belly 的意思，肚子的意思，或者 stomach 的意思。好，那这个什么 nomy 呢，就是某一种知识。好，所以 gastronomy 就是料理它是 the art or science of good cooking 或者 good eating 或者它是可以是一种 a style of cooking。好，那所以分子料理呢 started 一直要到分子料理开始 introducing 引介的一些新的方法来 apply 来应用化学还有物理应用到哪里呢？应用化学物理到食物的料理 food preparation 这个食物的料理上面，也就是说一直到分子料理开始把化学物理的知识应用在这个食物料理上面一直在这个之前呢，人们如何准备食物其实 changed very little 改变的不多。From the ways our ancestors did it 就跟什么比较改变不多呢？跟我们祖先烹煮的方式改变不多，而且是数千年来改变不多。这个当然是 in general 的说法了事实上这个料理的方式还有料理的材料这个还是 over the 1000 years 或者 over thousands of years 还是有不同的一些进展只是说就像刚刚 Angela 老师讲的，这个20世纪尤其是二次大战之后呢，哇，这个突然之间突飞猛进这个照它带来的改变是以前数百年甚至于数千年才会做出的一些改变，现在是几十年之内就变了很多了。这当然跟这个军事用途也有关系。
I just want to point out here this verb prepare, because a discussion I have a lot with ESL speakers is that in English, most of the time, we're speaking in the past tense because we're talking about things that happened. We very, very rarely use present tense by itself. Unless we have an ing on the end, which is then present continuous tense. But simple present tense is only used for something that is talking about this is always happening. So how people prepare food is how food is prepared since whenever up until the future. It's always talking about that this is a thing that's happening. How people prepare food. We're not talking about how we prepared it before or how we will prepare it in the future. It's how we always prepare food.
Yeah.这个地方的 prepare 它用的是现在简单式那现在简单式各位就记得它最基本的概念就是这个东西呢在过去是这样，现在是这样，未来也是这样。所以这地方他讲 how people prepare food 它指的是这个以前的人怎么做，现在人怎么做，未来怎么做都好像这个把它看成整体，它并不是特别讲说以前的人在某一个时候怎么这个准备食物你如果牵涉到过去的某一个时间特别的一个时间点，那就是过去式了。
So this is why when you don't use past tense, you're wrong. Because when you make a sentence using the simple present tense like this, you're saying that it always happened. But if a sentence is talking about something that just happened, then your tense is wrong. This is used in English. The simple present tense is used in English probably 1% of the time to make a very broad generalization. It's just not used that much is my point.
Yeah.
So if you don't know for sure, use past tense.
OK 那这个所以英文的现在简单式呢其实用的不多这个可能只有这个位数的百分比而已那所以呢各位如果说你不确定要用现在式还是用过去式的话，你用过去式猜中的几率比较大一点那各位只要记得现在简单式它是一个在过去会这样，现在是这样，未来也是这样的，只要条件允许条件符合情况下它都会这样发生的，那这个就是用现在式。
Okay, next paragraph. Before the invention of the microwave oven, food all around the world was prepared the same way over countless generations. So we're just reiterating the first paragraph.
那这个地方呢，这个在几乎是重复一下第一段讲到的，但是他这里讲了一个细节，就是我们有看到这个微波炉所以在微波炉发明之前呢这个全世界的食物都是 prepared 都是准备或者是这个烹煮呢是一样的方式是怎么样一样呢？是 over countless generations 数不清的世代以来呢都是用同样的方法在这个烹煮食物。
The only ways to cook food, says our author, were by using heat from direct or indirect exposure to fire. So baking, roasting, frying, or barbecuing, these are all ways of cooking food that puts you closer or farther away from open flames, basically. Or You could use heated water, such as boiling or steaming. So these were the basic techniques for cooking food for a long time.
好 ，the only ways 唯一的一些方法来烹煮食物呢，是例如说 by using 使用 heat 热是怎么样 direct or indirect exposure to fire， 你是直接或者是间接的暴露于火的这个热源就是用热那所以这是唯一的方法之一，那最重要的一个方法其实所以例如底下这些都是跟火有关的，用火有关，例如说 baking 这个烘焙roasting 烤 frying 是炸或者是油炸，那 barbecuing 是烧烤，这个都跟火有关这是一种方法。那另外呢，因为他讲 ways to cook food， 那另外一个这个唯一的常见的方法是怎么样呢？就是这个 from heated water其实还是跟火有关的那它是加热的这个水，加热后的水，例如说你用煮的啦，或者用蒸的 boiling 就是煮那这个 steaming 就是蒸。
In stark contrast. So it's not just in contrast, it's in stark contrast. In the biggest contrast you can imagine. It's very clear black and white contrast. The modern molecular gastronomy kitchen looks like a cross between a kitchen and a science lab. So it doesn't look like your ordinary home kitchen.
好 in stark contrast. Stark 这个是常常用来修饰 contrast， 用来修饰对比。那 stark 在这里的意思就是什么样？就是 clearly distinguished， 非常显著的所以非常显著的这个差异这个对比之下呢，他说现代的这种分子料理呢的厨房看起来好像这个 a cross between， 这个 cross 基本上就是 combination 就具有两边的特色，它都有它是一个怎么样？是一个厨房还有一个科学实验室两个加在一起的那种感觉。
Your dog looks like a cross between a panda bear and a cat.
你的狗呢看起来好像是个这个猫熊跟这个一只猫的这个混合体。具有两者的特色。
That wasn't a very good example, but it's like it doesn't really look like a dog.
这 cross 你可以想到它原来意思交叉嘛，就这两个很不同的东西交叉在那个点上面，然后就你现在得到这个东西。
The reason why the molecular gastronomy kitchen looks so strange is because the food in that process, it undergoes preparation and treatment that requires great precision. So you can't just be like, sure, like a couple teaspoons of sugar, more or less. Yeah, it requires that you have a precise amount. You need like 2.37 grams of sugar or whatever. And you also need, as well as technical tools which are unavailable in traditional kitchens. Like one molecular gastronomy thing is to make little pearls of flavor. And so you need like a tool where like you can pour water in on the top, but it drips out in individual like spouts on the bottom. Like there's 20 spouts on the bottom, which precisely drop one drop of liquid so that when it falls into the other liquid, it will harden into this flavorful like
Tell me when
pearl.
You're ready. When the food is ready.
You can look this up. Like, it's actually something you can do at home as long as you buy this little tool. So they have precise tools that you don't normally have in your kitchen.
好，所以这个分子料理呢，它其实用了很多这个工具，其实一般人家里不会有你要特别去买那种非常精准的工具它这个它像个漏斗一样，你要漏个20滴下来了，才可以做出什么东西来这样子。
It's a real pain in the tush process, but you get like really cool little red like denju, little pearls of flavor, and then you can make it shrimp flavored, or you could make it marshmallow flavored. And then you put it on top of like the dish, and it looks cool.
所以它可以做出很多不同的口味那你可以用来这个装点或者是调味食物所以我们看到这个地方，他说这是因为呢为什么它看起来像个 kitchen 跟这个 science lab 的这个混合体呢？这是因为这个食物呢，它 undergoes 就是它会历经这个 preparation 还有这个准备还有 treatment 这处理，那这些准备跟处理呢，需要的是 great precision 高度的精准还有呢 as well as 它也需要一些这个 technical tools 一些这个技术性的专业的一些这个工具 which are unavailable 这种东西通常都是得不到的 unavailable 就是 not available 或者 not accessible 或者 not at hand 就是没有的意思了In traditional kitchens 传统的厨房里面没有这些东西的。
Molecular gastronomy experiments with processes applied to food that attempt to extract flavors and change the textures of food. By extract flavors, it means like you might boil shrimp in water and then reduce it so that you have like this shrimp-flavored liquid, and then put it into these like pearls of or little caviar balls like I was talking about earlier. And so you've extracted the flavor of shrimp and given it an entirely different texture. So these little caviar balls are a different texture than the texture of the original shrimp.
OK， 所以这 extract 就是萃取的意思了哈。所以萃取啊，像刚刚这个 Angela 老师讲，你可以萃取这个虾的味道哈。那个透过一些过程，你把虾煮一煮之后，你就 somehow 你就可以把这个味道萃取出来。
somehow，
yeah somehow yeah。还是就像我刚刚讲的啊 ，Tell me when the food is ready 就好了。啊，你煮好了跟我讲，我来吃就好了。啊，所以呢，这个地方讲这个分子料理呢 ，experiments with 啊，它实验，它拿什么来做实验呢？它实验的东西是怎么样 ？processes 啊，就是一些这个程序啊，它 applied to food 应用于食物的一些程序啊。那这些程序会 attempt to 试图要萃取 extract flavors 啊，就是一些风味食物的味道。然后呢 change the textures of food 它也会改变食物的一些质地。
This may sound like a Frankenstein approach to cooking, but it relies on good old 100% natural ingredients. You're using food as chemistry. You're not actually adding chemicals to the food, necessarily.
好，所以这也许听起来有点像科学怪人的这种Frankenstein 的这种 approach 方式来这个烹煮，但是这些烹煮方式呢都靠的都是这个 good old 啊 ，good old 这个也是一样，就是这个 old 就是其实也就是 familiar common 哈，那 good old 就是其实就是没有问题，就是大家所知道的那些100%的自然的 ingredients.
Everything used is from biological sources, whether plant or animal.
那所用的东西呢，每一样东西都是来自于生物的来源哈，它不是化学的，不是合成的，不是科技合成的。好，那这些所谓的生物来源呢，可能是植物，也可能是动物。
So, what is the result of this intense interest in and experimentation with food? Why do we have to have in and with? It's a grammar thing. Go ahead. You took a breath.
OK 啊，所以这个东西它的结果是什么啊？首先呢是 intense interest 一个强烈的兴趣啊。那 interest 后面接的介系就是 in 啊，所以 interest in。啊，它后面接介系词才能再接 interest in food， 然后呢 experimentation 是实验，但是这个字后面接的介系词是 with 啊，就拿什么当实验，所以当你后面虽然说它也是 experimentation with food 啊，所以同样以 food 为受词，但是因为 interest 跟这 experimentation 它后面那种介系词不一样，所以你还是原来介系词要保留，所以你要把它讲成 interest in， 然后呢 experimentation with food。Also,
I kind of like how the texture of the sentence happens when you do that. Interest in and experimentation with food. It just sounds cooler and more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what happens? What's the result of this? The result is some very surprising dishes. Some dishes that'll make you go, huh.
Yeah, 所以
For real.
Yeah, 所以结果是什么呢？是一些让你很惊奇的一些这个菜肴 dishes.Transparent
ravioli, those little square Italian noodles which have like things stuck inside.
Yeah.
Transparent, see-through ravioli.
Yeah, 所以透明的 transparent。那这 ravioli 是一种方形的哈，里面有馅的一种意大利菜哈，有一点像我们的馄饨或者是水饺 ，Yeah.
Or mango puree served as a sphere. So instead of just mango, like ground up mangoes in a dish, it's a sphere on your plate. So a lot of it actually is about making it look cooler.
Yeah.Mango 啊，这个 puree 就是芒果泥哈，可是呢，它这个送上来给你吃的时候呢，它感觉起来看起来像个球体 ，a sphere 一个球体。然后呢，这个 caviar 是这个鱼子酱，但是呢是从这个橄榄油做出来的鱼子酱啊，这种我刚刚讲，你吃起来是鱼子酱，其实是橄榄油做的。好，那这些呢只不过是几个 out of the box ideas。好，这个 out of the box ideas 就是来自于另外一个片语叫做 think。Outside of the box 好，那 think outside of the box 就是你非常 original 啊，非常 unconventional 的一些这个想法，所以这些只是一些很非比寻常或者是很不寻常的一些想法。那这些东西呢，这些 ideas 这些想法这些菜的想法是在一个这个分子料理厨房里面所 created 所创造出来的。
And molecular gastronomy is such a popular thing right now that only time will tell. We'll only know that if over time it keeps being popular, we'll be able to know whether molecular gastronomy is just a fad, just like a temporary interest, or the wave of the future, how we will cook in the future.
好 ，Only time will tell， 这是一个常见的说法，就是只有时间才能证明，或者只有时间要靠时间我们才能知道，怎么呢？知道证明这个分子料理呢只是一个 fad， 一个一时的时尚，或者是 the wave of the future。wave 就是风潮啊，所以我们只知道，我们可以要用时间才知道它是一时的时尚，还是说它是整个未来的趋势或者是风潮。
We have some questions here for you. Number 1 is, what is the main purpose of this article?
本篇文章的主旨是什么呢？
The answer is to explain a new style of science-based cooking. The answer is D.
答案是 D， 是解释一种新颖的科学烹煮方式。
Number 2, according to the article, why has the amount of food increased greatly in modern times?
根据本文，为什么近代的食物数量大大的增加了？
According to the article, it's A, food science has focused on the production of more food, but it is also an economic and political question, to be honest.
Yeah, 答案是 A， 食品科学专注于生产更多的食物。不过当然呢，这个文章里面没提到，但这个当然背后还有更多的经济甚至于政治因素在里面。
Number 3, why are microwave ovens mentioned in the second paragraph?
为什么第二段提到了微波炉？
The answer is B. It was the first new way to cook food in the modern age, unless you count using electricity to heat up things, which is also a relatively recent invention.
Yeah. 好，所以答案是 B， 它是现代烹饪食物的第一个新方法。好，不过当然了，你如果再算说以前这个从煤气开始使用或者是这个用电炉开始使用这些东西，那你不算这些东西的话，那微波炉是一个现代烹饪的第一个新方法。
But microwaves truly are different because they literally move the molecules of the food around to heat them up. Instead of using the heat to move the molecules around, they move the molecules around to heat them up. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, 不过这个微波炉它的确在很多地方是划时代的创新的一种这个烹饪的方式跟以前的确是不太一样。
Number 4, what seems to be the writer's opinion of molecular gastronomy cooking?
作者对于分子美食烹饪的看法看起来好像是什么呢？
The writer seems to think D, its future is uncertain.
好，答案好像是 D 它的未来是不确定的。
So, join us in the future next time at Ivy League Analytical English. Until then, bye-bye.